festive season is well and truly upon us, and Santa Fyfie has brought the next gen present delivery maker onto co-coms tonight. I gave you one standard of Exile, but my co-commentator tonight is delivery, or at least promises to deliver the goods on this new gen Exile. Allow me to straight away welcome Mr. Rocks to the stage. How are you, sir?
What's happening? How's it going?
Oh, honestly, I'm a bit tired. The year is coming to an end, and I'm looking forward to having something that resembles a break.
Yeah, I've just wrapped up my last coaching session for 2.5 weeks, and that's
Nice.
the longest break I've had this year.
Wow,
So,
that's huge.
Yeah.
Excitement must be building in your house though, with a fair few little ones running around.
Oh yeah, older two are Christmas daft. We had them on the Polar Express last night.
Nice.
In the centre of town, and yeah, little one's just, well, he's a little goblin, so he just gets excited at being awake, frankly. So he'll be crawling around causing mischief, battering his siblings. He's great.
And of course, we're now into, it's still the early days of the season, but game week 2 tonight. How did it feel for you officially taking charge of a team built in your image for the first time the other day?
Oh, it was fantastic. It was not enough goals, and yeah, if we score less than 3 tonight, I may consider it a resigning matter.
Have you enjoyed, because this is the first, although you've been involved in the process for a while now, this is the first time it's been all you. Have you enjoyed all the close season transfer negotiations and building the side as close to your image as possible?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's funny because I was obviously really involved during COVID, and then there was a couple of seasons where I was really busy when Campbell won it. I think the only involvement I had was recommending a couple of mid-season signings, one of which was Gaston Casas, who turned out to be quite good.
Yeah.
And then I kind of, when there was the iteration that shall remain nameless, I don't know how we refer to it.
The season that never was.
Yeah, like the last season of that, I kind of got a bit back into the transfers, and then last season at Haggis, it was like, right, here we go. And I just told Campbell to shut up, and I just went and did deals, and it was great. And then this has just been exactly the same. Like, I think I had a wee bit of a chat with a couple of other managers about this, and I know there was obviously the difference in the transfer rules and stuff like that, and there was actually only really one deal I lost out on.
Okay.
And to be honest, it was a deal which involved me getting a stack of players from Haggis that I really wanted, and I wasn't losing much more than I would have. And actually, on the back of not doing that deal, I was able to make a couple other moves. So I'm really, really happy with the business that I've done. I think it fits what I want to do. So
good. Well, obviously, we will, Ghost Games permitting, play yourself and Dudley Hill last.
Yes.
What we spoke on Late Limbs this week about that there's a fair few games there catching the eye. Which one interests you straight off the bat?
I like the bottom 2 on that list intrigue me a lot. I think Stanley Fulchester's an interesting one because I really like Macca's business. And Stanley, again, I think he's got a squad that fits what he's trying to do.
Yeah.
I mean, you got the top game. The top game there is obviously a big one, but I imagine it'll be like watching early 2000s Serie A with probably a lot of 8s in the defensive quarters.
Yeah.
There's some good fixtures, really good. I mean, even Stackington versus Sloths is a bit of a slobber knocker, isn't it?
Potentially.
Yeah, it's a good list of fixtures.
Well, do you want to pick one to start, or should we let the game decide?
Has anyone requested an early one? Doesn't look like it from what I can see.
Not so far.
I think I'm kind of curious to see, or who's in the chat as well, because it'd be good to.
So pretty much everyone so far. I can see Rob, Jens, Alf, Dimble, Jamie. Ross, Ian.
I'm just trying to work out if there's any pairs of managers that
Well,
are in.
Stackington and Sloths are both here.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Okay, that's where we'll go then. Let's start with Stackington. So obviously it was a baptism of fire in game one. Casilla suspended accordingly. Ashley Cole also injured. Romoshenko unavailable. Sees a tactic change and a lineup change. So here is how Stackington do line up. Now there's some interesting names here. Ashley Cole's obviously a quality player, but I think Koku's perfectly capable out there on that left-hand side as well. Killy Gonzalez, who I've played out on that left-hand side, I think is a very good attacking midfielder. And even though he doesn't have a C in his positional sense, I think he could play that role well. I think a lot of what happens tonight depends on whether Rosicky and Seedorf turn up.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Like Coco and Gonzalez actually both came from Exiles. I sent him both of them for Kutuzov, who I really wanted. But this has got the makings of a decent side. I know for a fact that Simic is very handy in this version. And Herpy is decent. I personally, and this is as someone who loves South Americans, I don't trust Mondragon. I've used him a lot and I don't trust him, but he's been decent in this. Mendieta and Dyer are always going to give you something. I think the question would it be better to play Mendieta further forward and play someone else in DMC, but I don't know what other options he's got there. I actually quite like his squad. I know there was a bit of talk about the business he's done and stuff. I think he's actually got a lot of good component parts here. I think it's just a question of finding what makes it work or finding what works. I mean, Amoroso Morientes is a decent strike partnership. Yeah, I definitely think there's definitely some positives here.
Yeah. Alf suggesting that this tactic for Stackington has already trumped them before a ball has been kicked. Let's have a look at the Sloths team. Alf admitted it was his error in game week 1. It was the wrong formation. He has altered it to the S15 V2 WB formation. Again, there's talent here, but interesting shout. John Welsh has been promoted from the reserve team after one game week straight into the 11.
Yeah, Welsh is. I know that I've seen that Campbell's after him big style because I know he's a Scotty favourite, and he's one of those like lithe and stuff that just, to be honest, their name just puts me off because they're not Latin American enough, frankly.
Yeah.
And I just don't like them. You know something? See, looking at his bench, I like his bench. He's got Impenza there who can score goals. Trezeguet's decent. Collins might do. It's not far away, and I'd love to see Rob go back to 3 up top because I think that's when they're best. It's when they play 3 up. I see Zidane as conspicuous by his absence. I don't know, is there a confirmed Zidane transfer yet?
Not that I've been made aware of. Not that I've been asked to process. But I am seeing talk in the chat, live reaction to rumours that Michael Stewart is joining Ross.
That would be a resigning matter. That would certainly be a resigning matter. Yeah, Luis Enrique on the bench I like. West on the bench I like as well. Jorge Costa I'm a big fan of. Estebaria, considering Estebaria moved there for Nicky Butt, I would have expected to see him starting. Likewise, I'd like to see him on the right hand side of a front 3. Yeah. So yeah, if there is a Zidane transfer, I'd be interested to know what it was, because he'd said public bids only, and the bids that I'd seen have been relatively derisory, including my own. So I'm guessing there is no deal as yet.
Okay. Score prediction for game 1 then, please, sir?
A Desmond.
I hope everyone that is participating as well has been enjoying Swan's return to the Super League Super 7. I'll be honest, I've been late getting them in, and I apologise to Swanee for that, but I'm glad that he's been able to afford us the time to bring that back. It's always fascinating to see what people think. 20 minutes in, no goals yet. Both sides have had opportunities. It looks to me like maybe Sloths have had the slightly better of it thus far. But Stackington will be pleased to at least have 11 men on the pitch after 45 minutes. And this one, you predicted a draw. It's not quite the 2-2 yet. Sloths, stats-wise, do appear to have had the better of the game. What was your take?
Yeah, I can still see there being goals in this. It's going to be who blinks here. This is where I know you talked about this today, and I think Smuts was talking about managers, just like the best managers just sticking with it and just happy to take the point at times rather than chasing it. I'm to fucking chase it, Ross. Like, go one at the back, stick everyone up top, bedlam.
And that's the advice simply at half time.
Yeah. Mendietta's on an 8 though, which is good, and because he's a bit of a 7 merchant at times, although I love him. It's a good start.
We've got a bit of Michael Stewart for Sedan. Jens also pimping players out. Figo would be good.
Oh yeah, because Figo's had a tantrum, hasn't he?
Yes, yeah.
This is the thing. So many managers now, I'd seen everyone going, oh yeah, I've got one deal left. It's like, we all know deals are made up with more than one player, which makes it very interesting.
Both managers going as is till 60. So we resume to the action, see what happens. Early, and there is a goal. Woo! Hit from 20 yards out from Mendieta. And the home side take the lead. And look at Kieran Dyer rolling back the years with his 9 rating on the hour mark. Great to see. Fantastic to see. Yeah,
I'm pretty sure. I know that he had. I'm pretty sure I asked him at one point, but I know that he had a lot of people asking about both of them. And he decided to keep both of them, which I think is a very smart move.
Absolutely. Would you, looking at those ratings and considering the score as it is now, would you be making any changes with what's available on the bench?
D'Alessandro's not fully fit. Otherwise, I'd probably chuck him on. But I would probably be inclined to stick. Okay. Rob Campbell saying he fancies Figo. Interesting. Indeed. Oh no, because Jens hasn't got any deals left.
That's right. And Jens also asking to be a bit later tonight, if possible.
Yeah, that's fine.
We've got Rob, without even seeing his stats, going with your recommendation. Esper on for Collins, free up top.
Yeah.
So we will do that while we wait news from Stackington. We've also got a follow-up comment. Push arrows on Kerr diagonal centre. So let's just do this one at a time. Esper for Collins. I'm presuming Impenza goes in the middle. Kerr gets the diag.
And the long arms, yeah.
Wants him further forward, all the way to the top.
Why not?
Exciting times at Sloths. They are going for this. Impenza 79% a consideration.
Stackington are doing Sador for Lucinov and swap with Mendieta.
Yes, just seeing that one as well.
Campbell's saying he'll send Jens someone on a free transfer and he'll get a free transfer back. I'm not sure that's how it works.
No, that isn't how it works. Sador for Lucinov. So he's trying to protect what he's got here looking at that sub.
Lucinov's a weird one. I know that Mega Horse absolutely loves him, and I don't mind him, but yeah, be interesting to see considering the impact Mendieta's had there.
Well, let's see how this does affect things. It looks like Stackington continue to build pressure, although here comes Sloths. 10 minutes to play, 1 goal in there, and it's 2 for Stackington. Morientes doubles the lead. Jens saying there's ways around this. We'll figure it out. Free kick awarded. 2 minutes being added on by the officials. Simic has it cleared. Mendieta and also Morientes. And now the home side have a free kick. Into injury time. Lucinov picks it up. Amoroso. And here comes a deep cross. Morientes cleared. Sloths withhold the pressure, but it's not enough. And Stackington are off the mark.
It's not a great second half from Sloths.
Not
One
at all.
shot.
Stackington have come out as a completely different animal in that second half.
Yeah, it's a great win. And looking at that, yeah, Dyer, Mendieta, Coco. So his two wing backs and his central defensive midfielder for most of the game have had absolute stormers.
Yeah.
And Morientes is one of these guys that just lives off crosses, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Like, it's a good performance. And even like Kili Gonzalez has done all right there. And yeah, it's well done. Getting off the mark is a big one for him.
Yeah, so it's huge for it to happen early, isn't it?
That doesn't look terrible.
No,
that's really. That is, it looks, and you look at the pass numbers as well. They've had a lot of possession.
Yeah.
I guess the one thing you would say, looking at that, is look at from Kerr up and tell me who's going to create anything.
Yeah.
And that's absolutely. Maybe where Enrique Estebaria, they need to find a way to get them involved, or they bring back Zidane.
Well, Alf's suggesting Zidane, Rob's suggesting one at the back, three up top, so something's going to happen.
I absolute advocate. I'm all for it.
We move swiftly on to game number 2, and it sees Haggis host Los Santos. LSK, you got a up close and personal with in game week 1. As you said, they're not going to come up with a team that does this all the time. So to see Jamie go unchanged isn't too much of a surprise for you.
No, not hugely. I think everyone seems to rate the business that he's done. You look at that side there; it is strong. I know even like the Kaluzhny seems to be a bit of a monster from the brief look that I had on this, because I had a look at a couple of players on the database. It's one of the. He normally has some 20s in weird places, but he looks really strong across the middle column, which he always doesn't necessarily always look. And yeah, like it's a good side. I mean, personally, Imar's a midfielder for me with an arrow forward. Mm-hmm. Don't like him in AMC.
Okay.
But other than that, can't have too many complaints. The one I'm a wee bit surprised isn't involved, because he had a decent tail end of last season, is Vasiliuk. I thought he might have had a look in early doors, but because he did all right.
He was averaging 1 and 2 last season.
Yeah, so I wouldn't be surprised. I wonder whether, looking at the strikers he's got there and the options, I could see him being 2 up sooner rather than later. But yeah,
I think if I remember rightly, his coaches were also talking Vasiliuk up in the week leading up to the game.
Okay.
As for Haggis, there without Gomez, he's suspended. It's essentially the same team. That the only alteration being that Boamorte and Perez have swapped sides.
Yeah, which I find a little bit odd considering how good Perez was on the left.
Yeah.
I wondered whether he might have given Ribera a start. Look, ultimately, what Jacques did in the last game, if he's going to do that 7 times a season, the deal's worth it. Mm-hmm. I'm partly pissed because I tried to get Zanetti, but then that was part of the mega deal that never would have happened anyway. Yeah. But yeah, look, I know for a fact he's got an absolute gun squad here. The players that he's moved around, Guigu on paper is probably better than Santos. Jacques gives them a different option. I'm pretty sure there'll be a stack of people queuing up for Del Vecchio if Jacques gets that role, because Del Vecchio was dynamite in AMC, which not many people are. I mean, look at that. Goal every other game from AMC. Like, that's better than Nikiforenko's managed in pretty much every iteration.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good squad. And Scotty just adds someone a wee bit different, slightly different way of thinking. Yeah, might just push him over the line.
A score prediction for game number 2 then, please, sir.
I am going to say home win.
Home win is the prediction. Mike Savage agreeing with you. Del Vecchio was a wee monster. I'm all for Del Vecchio for starting as well, says says Paul. Busy opening 10 minutes. Looks like LSK were coming forward, but you mentioned Kaluzhny, and there he goes being stretched off on 13 minutes. When you look at the subs, Lazan's the obvious straight replacement, but how big a loss do you think Kaluzhny could be here?
Pretty big. I do wonder whether he might go for the burn formation and bring Guerrero on to play next to Boyer and go with one. But I don't think Pauva is probably more suited to being a DMC going forward as opposed to a lone man tackling everything. I think it probably needs to be Lysan's.
Well, just a reminder on that for anyone who is new to Super League watching this. In terms of tactical changes, we don't do them at injuries, only at half-time in 60 minutes.
Yeah, so it's Lysan's on. I'm pretty sure he moved Agat central against me when in the last game as well, so he might look at that at half-time maybe, but I'd keep Agat out there. Agat's really good out there.
Definitely. Evening Swanee, who's just joined the chat as well. Still plenty of LSK in the text. And there is the goal for Aymar. His first goal for his new club in front of what could have been his new manager. But Pires from the other side levels things up in double quick time. And it's 2-1. Petkov not wasting any time at all. In
cracking season last year he had as well.
And we get to half-time. It looked busy from the start and it ended frantic.
Yeah. Good. Yeah, it was LSK had a really good spell there, and then Haggis seemed to have 2 shots, 2 goals, and then nearly scored a third on the stroke at half time. So,
if ever there was a comment that sums up the Super League, I love this. The knowledge of the game, the knowledge of each other's squads, the commitment you all amaze me. I still struggle to remember who manages each club.
Yeah. I've looked at all of these clubs a lot when I was looking for transfers. Yeah, he's going to be pretty happy with that. Boamorte, I wonder whether we might see Boamorte for Roberts. I mean, to be honest, you could chuck Del Vecchio out there and play him out on the left and go, you know what, we're just going to put all our best goal scorers on the pitch at once and hope something happens.
A little word on Saeed as well. I know when Ian was on comms the other day, he was talking up his contribution to this Aggies team.
Yeah, he was an absolute bonus of a signing last year. I can't remember what the deal was, but it was I think it was with Hodgie, and it was just because he can play in defence, he can play in defensive midfield, you can fuck him off up front. Frankly, like he can play everywhere, and he just like Tetradze, he covers more than one option. So you put him on the bench, you can put other more fun players on the bench alongside him.
As you suggested, it looks like you're still having that impact because it is Robert for Boamorte. That is confirmed. Look over at LSK then. They looked like they were dominating the text for a large part of that first half. They even took the lead, but then it all just fell apart around them.
Well, just seeing sticking as is. Yeah, I mean, it's a strange one that it doesn't. I guess the one thing you could say, although I don't think Haggis had loads of possession either, it seems to be seems to have been a bit of a boot fest by the looks of it. But yeah, he's not far off.
No, not at all. We are approaching the hour mark already. 63 on the clock. 64 it ticks over as we pause it. Still 2-1. Not as busy as the first half. Things settling down a little bit, which will please the team Haggis.
Yeah, I think it'll just stick. I wouldn't necessarily change anything, unless you do Del Vecchio for Jacques. But I probably wouldn't. I think just stick as is. I think that's one thing that Campbell got. The swapping of the strikers, we did that a lot last year, and it was pretty effective.
Certainly did. Evening to Dan, who's just joined, and Smuts as well, who's asked if he can go next because he needs an early night. No problem at all, sir. So that was Haggis. Let me move over to LSK. Tristan is there. Possibly go to up top to affect things. Del Piero's fitness dropping to 79 as well. Maybe a consideration. Amar behind 2.
If he goes, I wonder whether he might move to that Stackington shape then and go 2-3-2-1-2. I'm not a fan of the 4 then 2 1s and a 2. I just think you need different. You always need the space.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we'll see what he does. I mean, he could bring on Guerrero as well.
Yeah.
And maybe Guerrero for Pauva and put him alongside Boyer and Aymar and behind Pizarro and Tristan maybe. I mean, Del Piero off for Guerrero, on for Tristan. So he's going one at the back. He is going one at the back. I love that.
Del Piero off for Guerrero. Honsho off for Tristan. 2 up top. So, Jamie, if you could just confirm you want it looking a bit like that, I would appreciate it, and then we'll get going. You said about one behind 1. What about 2 behind 2?
Again, I always kind of feel like you need the space, like having done a lot of testing, even just having an AMC behind 3 sort of seems to work, but having 2 behind 2, I just can't get it to click. Like when I'm doing the mad super goal scoring ones, I've got 2 playing behind 3.
Yeah.
Just so there's a little space for them to run into. I don't know why it works that way, but it seems to.
Still only 1 goal in it as we approach 80 minutes. Let's slow it down. See if we get some late drama. Get the old Asta arrows on the AMs. Yes, where they both run centrally like that. And it's Jackson, Robert, and nearly corner kick to the home side. Maldini got out jumped. They get another corner. This time Maldini does get his head to it. Boya. Superb tackle on it. Shax. And Vieri. Barthez with a save. Another corner. And another save for Barthez. And another corner.
Yeah, this is feeling very familiar.
Offside. And Shax. And another save from... And Samuel hits the bar. 5 minutes being added on. This reeks of an LSK equaliser now. Van Nistelrooy. Another save for Barthez.
This is exactly how I felt the other night. It's like you've just had so many shots.
The only thing Barthez can't seem to do is take a goal kick. It's just he's going straight to Petkov. Vieri, Van Nistelrooy, and another save from Barthez. This is unreal. Barthez. Fucking hell.
This is like someone playing FIFA, but they've added a second player in the
No way. No way. Oh, it is offside.
Barthez with another save.
Tristan. Oh, Cannavaro, Boya. Aymar.
No, offside.
They're still coming forward. Oh, he spotted an incident. This time? Throw in? Van Nistelrooy, Vieri. And there's a final whistle. Absolutely unbelievable. And Smut sums it up there. Barthez, wow. That is ridiculous. I mean, it's happened again.
Bloody hell.
Barthez has saved somewhere in the region of 30-something shots in 2 games.
I think we had 11 on target and he's had 13. So he is currently, so what's that, 24? He's saving 87.5% of shots he's facing or something.
It's outrageous, outrageous. How did I only lose 1-0 to this Haggis super team, says Jens.
Because Jens has a very handy team.
He does. He very much does. But it was a good performance from the Haggis goalkeeper as well. He got a 9 rating. Perez got a 9 rating. Saeed kept his 9 rated. Lots of 8s as well. Very, very good looking performance on paper from Haggis.
Yeah, absolutely. It's actually very similar to a lot of performances last year where Del Vecchio maybe scored but got a 7. That AMC position, you just need them to do a couple of things a game and the rest of it just fits together. DMC's passing, not losing the ball, Petkov's been great. Yeah, it's a very good performance in it. Cuenca is very, very good. That's he might be the proudest signing I've made actually in terms of impact. Barthez with a 9.
Yeah, the problem for Jamie is everyone else was sort of average, really. Imar tried, but everyone else is just 6 and 7.
Yeah, I mean, I know we kind of talked about it. We talked about it a little bit, I think, pre-show. It's like, I think round one, if you were to say who had the worst performance, it was probably LSK in terms of the balance of the game. He can look at that and go, he's been beaten by a good side, but when he's chased it, he's struggled. Like that's, and again, when they went one at the back the other day, just whatever balance it is doesn't work. So, yeah, he does have a good squad. It's just working out.
How it fits best.
Might be moving away from that deep DMC line and maybe putting wingers in or something like that. I'm not sure.
Well, he's got plenty of know-how. I'm sure he'll work it out. But that means it's 2 from 2 for Haggis as they go in search of going one better than last year. He wanted to go next, and next it is. So we go to East Coast versus Foss Road. Smuts said on Late Limbs that he's expecting to get royally rolled over here. Here is the Coast team. From memory, I think it was just Rivaldo because of the injury, wasn't it? Kuhl's injury means Rivaldo came in and Alex goes on to the bench. Everything else remains the same. They were very, very good.
That is Ryan Williams, yes.
It is Ryan Williams, yes.
Is in the squad. He's also got Byron Bubb in his reserves, who I'd really like.
Yes, I was as surprised as everyone else when he made the 24. Coast were very good against a slightly understrength Sancte last time out, but did they lay a marker early with that performance and result?
Yeah, I think you talked about it again, talking about just advertising the podcast some more, but you talked about it today. The deals he's done have been really, really good. I think they've pretty much strengthened it all. Stanic was great for him last year. Getting a recognised striker in Shevchenko makes a massive difference. Like, Rivaldo is a good player.
Yeah.
Like, he's a very good player to have as backup. And Kuhl gets injured. Oh, he comes in. If he doesn't come in, Alex comes in. It's not players that anyone's going to get particularly excited about. But if they get you a 7 or something like that and you win the game, they do the job. So, and Zanetti coming in, and yeah, it's a very good squad he's got. And I'm absolutely spitting that Michelini isn't even in the squad, and I couldn't fucking get him off him.
You never know. Maybe there'll be another chance at some point.
There fucking better be. I need to free Pablo.
As for Foss, there without Emerton, he failed a fitness test. So Yakubu starts. Other than that, it's unchanged. Helguera taking the place on the bench. So saying, love that people are listening to Late Limbs. Glad it's seemingly getting some love. To be fair, the messages I've had have been positive. We've even had people asking if we'll be having guests on, which, yes, after Christmas is when we're looking to start getting other managers on to say their bit as well.
I mean, looking at it, he's starting Maresca, which is fun. But yeah, he's got a chance here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not the person to judge this because there's a lot of players that I dislike in this lineup. I just don't know if the sum of the parts of this lineup equate. And I don't know if it's the system. I don't know. I'm just struggling to work out what you do with this team.
Mm-hmm.
But he did this last year and he got a lot of results. So, and he has got a few options in his squad. Liverani's there. Biscan's been decent for people before. Helguero's been decent for people before. I know that he wants to do he'll find a way. He's got loads of guys in his reserves.
Jorovic, Oya, Placente would be in most 24s as well, I would say.
Yeah, definitely. Placente seems destined to be a burn backup left wing back at some point. Just screams Edwards.
It certainly does. Yes, Yakubu, he's in there to deputise for the injured Emerton. So game number 3, I believe, of the evening. Score prediction, please.
I am going to predict a home win, and if it's
Okay.
okay, I'm going to disappear for about 10 minutes because I need to go and pick up a parcel.
You disappear, and I will see through this one and maybe the next one while you're gone.
Cool. I will see you shortly from my car.
See you shortly.
Cheers, mate.
And there's Van der Vaart opening the scoring for Foss Road.
My predictions are dog shit, aren't they? Back shortly.
See you, mate. Hussein levels things up, one apiece now, as Foss continues to come forward, looking to retake the lead. It's end-to-end stuff here. Either side could take this. And there is Shevchenko. Rox mentioned him in the build-up, and he has given the home side the lead. What have Foss got about them? Can they level up this time? A yellow card handed out, I think it was for Valda. 5 minutes added on at the end of the first half. And is there time for one more chance? Foss are huffing and puffing, but they just cannot blow that East Coast house down. Hoffland, I believe it was, going in the book on the halftime whistle. Plenty of chances, plenty of entertainment at the Keepy Uppy Pills Arena for the fans in attendance. Ryan Williams and Byron Bubb. Yeah, indeed. Chasing a Super League title and doing a whole mega save in the same time. It's very, very impressive. So East Coast coming from behind. Look at that performance from Tybee, though, doing a Barthez, if you like. That wasn't shit. No, it certainly wasn't, mate. You've done okay there, but not quite enough, as it's the home side who have the advantage. Nigmatulin, maybe unfortunate a little bit with his 5. But the ratings just not quite as high, despite the fact that you looked okay. The ratings not seemingly saying so. Dimble there flashed up saying as is. So interesting to see what Smuts does next. Rivaldo. What about Rivaldo? Yeah, Rivaldo, sorry. Going to be interesting to see what side of Smuts comes out here, because as Rox was saying in the latest edition of the podcast, he was discussing managers chasing it and the right approach to take, and the difference between newer managers and more experienced managers. What view does he take seeing that on screen? And we're going with the Haggis style switching of the strikers and taking the arrow off Riquelme. No problem at all. Let's resume the second half then and see how this plays out. Nothing in the first 5. Coast with the first 1 or 2 opportunities. As we reach the hour mark, and Coast denied a great goal. It looked like Foss had built the early momentum, but that last chance, as I say, going to Coast. Nothing wrong ratings-wise. Nothing really wrong fitness-wise. Stanic, the only player below 90 on 82. Wouldn't surprise me to see a very prompt as is from Dimble. It will be, again, interesting now how Smuts reacts to what he's seen in that 15 minutes or so in the second half. I think Matulin's still on a 5. Fairview 6 is still dotted about. Hoffland, the only player in the Foss ranks on a card, but no fitness concerns at all. Dimble is going to make changes. So we've got Sheva swapping with Stanic, and he's being replaced by Shearer. So a lot more bulk up top. Back over to Foss Road. Don't have much in the way, in my opinion anyway, of game changers on the bench here. Franco would be the one, potentially if you're looking at a tactical change. Potentially, knowing the quality of Vieira, you could play him on his own in that hole. Move Maresca forward and either go 3 with Santa Cruz or go 2 with 2 potentially. Interesting what Smuts is going to do. Just a reminder in this break in play that scheduling going to plan the next round of fixtures in the Super League will be on Saturday evening. Ross is already tweeting about the result. Before the show has even finished. I'm expecting a novel is coming here. It's taken quite a little while for this comment to come through. And here it is, popping up on the screen now. So we've got Santa Cruz for Maresca, free up top. Vieira central. And potential Franca for Riquelme. And Arrow back on. So Spencer, you can just confirm you're happy with it looking like that, and we will proceed. But that is how I've interpreted it. It was quite clear, thank you. So I'd like to think that that is correct. It might just be a case of he wants to say Owen Central. Might be the only thing I've not quite got there, but I believe that to be correct. Spot on, lovely. Let's continue then and see how we go for the remaining 30 minutes. Are they going to leave gaps for the home side? Is the sheer might and power and volume of power that Foss have got in an attacking sense going to help them? Oh, it's a red card. Clivert's gone off just as I was going to slow the commentary down. Not ideal. Not awful, but not ideal. Of course, red card. Dimble means you can also make changes if you want to. But as the recipient of that card, Foss Road can go first. I can't see a substitution with Helguera coming on at all. Being non-beneficial, I think Santa Cruz just moves over and they roll. No change for Dimble, confirmed. Thank you very much. Just waiting for Smuts to confirm. Like that. There we go, thank you. Still one goal in it, so we'll slow the commentary down for the last 5 minutes. See how the 10 men face. And here comes the home side, Rivaldo blazing over. Into stoppage time. Nothing happening at all. One last chance though, maybe. Rivaldo, Shearer, Hussein, Ferguson, saved. And there is the full-time whistle. Coast, another side making it 2 from 2. Not an awful performance from Foss Road, but they are without a point in their first 2 games. Uliano getting man of the match, one of 2 players to Rata 9 Taibbi, continuing the evening of impressive goalkeeping performances. Solid ratings throughout, decent numbers throughout at all. Even Shearer contributing with his half an hour on the pitch. As for Foss, Nick Matulin's rating did improve. Lawson's, however, dropped. He went down to a 5. There just wasn't enough. Zé Roberto tried. He did like Aymar did in the other game, but there just wasn't enough in them at all as a collective. So unlucky to Foss. Well done to East Coast. As we go on to Stanley versus Fulchester. Fulchester may keep the formation. Maka clearly wants this to work. The change 2 changes, one in the lineup, one on the bench. And it's interesting because despite the loss last time out, it was Okan that scored. But despite that, he doesn't even make the bench as Beckham replaces him. Serginho also coming in for Donny, who was on the bench last time out. As for Rose, they too make one change, and it is enforced. Scally, out injured, sees Di Biagio come off the bench and Juninho take his place on the bench. They were the victors over Foss Road last time out and will be looking to build some momentum as well as silencing a few doubters. Mac is saying Wi-Fi terrible, Swanee may do subs. Let's see if they are required. Fulchester seems to have started quite quickly in the first couple of minutes, but here comes Sharp Pinto with the first real chance for Stanley, and another chance for Stanley there as well. Both sides have had opportunities in these opening 10-15 minutes. Robin getting involved. See Ronaldo's name a little bit as well. 3 minutes being added on at the end of this first half. It's looked busy. Stanley having the much better chances. They had a couple of double chances as well. I noticed in the commentary. Fulchester, the 2 opportunities and 1 on target. Looking at the home side ratings, Roberto Carlos and Edgar Davids, 2 of the bigger names you would argue in this 11. They are on the 8 ratings. Only Gary Neville rating a 6 or lower. Fitness-wise, I personally might be looking at Zanoni, 82% at half-time, and Sand, the only player on a yellow card. No yellow cards to worry about for Fulchester. They have a 9 rating in Steven Gerrard. Sebastian Fryer also performing quite well between the sticks. They do, however, have a couple of players on 6s. Mike Savage going as is till 60. Let's see what. And Swanee also going as is on behalf of Macca, and then says, I think. Just in case, because I know Macca was here, I'll give him 20 seconds. If not, we will go with Swanee's as is and play it through to the 60-minute mark, where I do believe my partner in presenting for this evening will be able to rejoin us. Own it, Swan, says Mr. Edwards. Oh, excuse me. Right, we continue on. And early opportunities in the second half, but still nothing converted. Crespo with the latest one, and 1 over the bar for the home side. We had a follow-up chance this time. We've reached the hour. Sigalko with the latest opportunity, but still 0-0. As we welcome back Rocks from the car. How's that collection going?
Oh, all good, all good. Parcel successfully picked up.
Lovely.
So I have some more pointless rugby league merchandise.
Well, you've joined this game, Rose and Fulchester. It's 0-0 on the hour point. Swan wants to go 5 up top for Fulchester. Sinoni's fitness now 75. It might become a consideration at this point. Sand's still the only player on a yellow card. As for Fulchester, Swan's calling for 5 up top. Frey maintains his 9 rating. Gerrard maintains his. Lucio's dropped to a 5, however. No yellow cards for Macca and Swan to worry about. Beckham on 78. Crespo has dropped like a tank to 53, though. So there must be a slight injury there. Could we see Torres come on?
I think you have to. If it's down at 53, I think you probably have to.
Well, Macca is going with Serginho on for Ronaldo. Put him midfield left. Oh, wait, do this. Oh, okay. Right, hang on. He wants to change it now that he's seen the fitness.
Yeah.
Right, so let's try this again. So we're doing the same sub. We're doing Crespo for Serginho. Putting him at left mid. Robin and back at AMC.
Yeah.
So I'm presuming Macca wants it to look a bit like this.
Yeah, I would say so. It's a good team he's got there. It's a really good team. again, another manager who's done very, very handy business. Just nothing particularly flashy, but he's got in better players.
Yeah.
I think I said at the start, Stanley look like they've got a squad and a system that works. I probably wouldn't change anything if I was him.
Even with Zanoni at 75?
No, I think 75's all right. I'm a condition as a myth guy. I never look at it. And I think if you're in this position now, you just stick with it. So he's going, what, Costa for Juninho to AMC. All right, okay.
So I've got it that we're looking like this.
Yes. Don't know if he's wanting arrows on the AMC.
He's not one for too many arrows, to be fair.
No, he's the man of no arrows.
Yes, his first ever team had 0 arrows in it.
Yeah. The arrowless savage.
Indeed. Did you catch the final score in the previous game, by the way?
No, I'd seen the 1-0 at Foss Road, and then I'd seen Cliver had been sent off, but I didn't see what the score was at that point.
So Coast did end up winning the game.
Did they? What was the final score?
2-1.
All right, okay.
We resume this with the tactical changes done. A yellow card for Carlos. And a yellow card for Juninho. 73 now on the clock.
It's good to see Maka taking time out from attending every Christmas party north of the Watford Gap as well.
Serginho! Oh, Beckham Ronaldo! Vesterveld gets in the way.
Vesterveld up to his old tricks.
And Sand, Juninho. Frey gets down well. Kicks the ball upfield. Gattuso now picks it up. Tudor. Ronaldo, back. Gary Neville in the way. 2 minutes being added on. It's Robin. Now Gerrard picks up and Robin again. Referee wants a word. He's been sent off. Gary Neville's been sent off in the 89th minute. Oh, both managers can make changes here. It's a free kick. It's not a penalty. It's a free kick to Fulchester. I mean, I'm presuming, given that it's 89 on the clock, you're advocating one at the back here?
I would. I could also see a world where he pulls Sand back and David's back.
Maka already going as is for me. Haggis saying take the point and run. Central, yeah, he's just gone centralised one at the back.
I've just seen it. I've just seen it's Eggiog. I don't trust that for a second.
Back, Serginho. Stanley withhold the pressure though. Ronaldo now back. Serginho again and Ronaldo. Robin. Oh, it's only a yellow for Eggiog. He's got to be careful. Free kick to Fulchester. Back. And Serginho. Between the two of them, they are delivering so much except a goal. And there's the final whistle. The game might have fucked me, says Mike. It's let you get away with a point here, which means after 2 games, the team widely predicted to finish bottom are unbeaten.
I don't think... I find the idea... I can't remember who I predicted to finish bottom. I don't think it was Stanley. I can't really understand. Just for the fact they've got Sigalko up front alone, it's very, very unlikely he's going to finish bottom. But you look at his team there, and Davids, and I mean, Zanone's done a job for long enough as well. Roberto Carlos is there. I am 100%, I will say with 100% conviction that Ugo Eggiog is an absolute danger, but he's got Sander Westerveld behind him, who's one of the best keepers in the league. So, yeah, I think he'll be happy with that.
Mike's saying in the chat, feel very hard done by in honesty, and potentially rightly so. Maka agreeing with him, to be fair. Yeah, you were the better team for sure. Looking at Fulchester, we did see Frey's name pop up. He had a couple of saves. He gets a 9 rating. Gerrard as well had a 9 rating throughout the whole game. They had chances back, and Serginho in particular were busy towards the end of the game.
Mhm. Yeah, I know Mark is saying they're the better side. I think you might see it as a wee opportunity missed, because I think certainly from when I rejoined, I thought they were the better side. I didn't see
Okay.
much of Stanley in the last half an hour. Crespo going off's a concern. But yeah, there's definitely something there. I do like this team. Lucio went from a 5 to an 8.
Yep.
Again, another certified fucking danger of a player. But yeah, I don't think either of them will be too disappointed with a point.
So we've got Exiles v Dudley Hill. That's going to be last. It's Burn Badgers or Vikings Sancte. Either one could be class. Which one would you like?
Should we do the Burn one? Because I know Jed said he wanted a later game, so let's push it as late as we can for him.
Okay, so defending champions off on a rampage last time out, and unsurprisingly unchanged. Nothing to surprise anybody about this team. There's not much to say either that hasn't been said times. So I'm just going to ask you a slightly different question about it. What do you make of their subs bench?
It's predictable. He's got plenty of guys. He's got Scholes can drop back. I mean, I would even play Scholes in DMC if I had to, because he's got a good enough right-hand column. He doesn't really need anything down the middle on that bench, so why not just go with Junior and Raymer, who can add some width. Raymer can play centrally. It's a very, very Burn bench. It's just guys who can kind of fill in anywhere that there's enough good players around them. You don't need to worry about them being worldies.
And I mean, obviously, it's all down to personal preference and taste. But when you've got a team that has Mourinho, who's a very good centre back, in my opinion, Takinadi, who's a superb defensive midfielder, not even in the matchday squad, it just tells you the strength and depth they've got.
Definitely, yeah.
Jens is saying, I'm here and finding the missus has gone to bed. A little secret. I've never won a game of Super League when she's been on the couch next to me.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's going to become the default for anyone playing Jens now, is asking them, is your missus next to you?
Well, to be fair, I mean, you've been in the chat long enough. You know people are daily asking him about his missus anyway.
Is your missus next to you? Oh, can we play now? I've just been in a car crash and I'm being cut out of the car, but we'll play now because then I'm guaranteed 3 points.
As for Badgers, I saw Tato talking about his home record actually earlier. It's true, it's the worst part. Apparently, Swan's advised he's got a record, or set to have a record-breaking home record. I did see some talk of. One enforced change, Simeone unfit, so Live comes in, but swaps from left to right. Also, interesting that Kaka has been promoted to the 24 with Zizi Roberts, a Tato favourite, dropping to the reserves.
I can see that maybe Kaka as a backup for Nikiforenko. Zizi would only play if Saviola doesn't hit his straps, and even then he'd probably play Agahawa there or Larson or Elbit. Yeah, I can see the reasons why. I think I know he had a decent first game. Sally Amazic on the right is a great signing. He's one of the best right-sided players in the league. I tried to get him at Haggis a lot of times. I never had any joy, despite sending Rob various photoshopped images of celebrities in compromising positions. I was never able to get him. That first team is very, very good. There's not really many holes that you can pick in it. And they had a good win first up, so it's going to be a good game.
It sure will. Can I ask you for a score prediction, please?
I think Badgers are going to nick it.
Okay, Badgers to nick it because of that impenetrable home record that they've got. And Badgers, and they want a penalty. They get a penalty, and Rossini scores the penalty to put the home side 1 goal up. And there's 2. It's Nicky Forenko. And are we seeing someone make Byrne look ordinary? I didn't think it was possible. It's free, and it's 3 different goal scorers. Saviola, you mentioned him in. Pull my own mic that time. Saviola making it 3-0 just before the break, and Badgers looked scary good in that half. I mean, it wasn't spectacular in terms of entertainment, but it was ruthlessly efficient, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's good. It was very, very good. You look at that; his front 3 have all scored, and he's got almost the ideal little and large partnership with Rossini and Saviola. He's got guys who are going to put crosses in out wide, and then he's got a bunch of DMCs that are just solid as a fucking rock. Like, yeah, not really too much to say.
Can't see as is coming here.
I don't know. I think if you're in this situation and you're 3-0 down, what can you do? Like, you don't see 3-0s turn round particularly often, especially not away from home.
No, it's very true.
Do
you think we're going to see a situation where, because we had it, was it the start of last season where at home a lot of teams do well, away nobody does well, and it'll take a while to break that sort of curse?
I was just thinking about that when we were looking at it, because I was thinking Fulchester now on the board with a point. Was it not after 3 games everyone had won a game or something?
I think so,
it was bizarre. Yeah. I think it could be similar. There's Montella. Just to call out on the podcast, she did say that this game and Giggs injured.
Well, we saw Jens say Giggs hasn't even started yet. Scary times. He's not finishing. And, we don't see a lot, to be fair, of long-term injuries. But if this was even, say, a month, it could have an impact.
We don't see a lot of long-term injuries as I sit there with a Nelk on the sidelines for 400 years because he won't fucking rehab.
Agahawa is coming on.
Yeah, it makes sense.
And there's 2. Hello.
This morning when I was listening, you said there would be a 0-0 and a 4-4. And the 0-0 would probably be this game, and the 4-4 would be Stackington and Sloss. We have a 3-2 with 30 minutes left.
What do me and Smuts know? Oh, this is everything that was promised and more. I don't know why I've gone on to Kadisha, because Tater says it's a myth. Do you think he'll be slightly concerned that more so because of who has scored the 2 goals in terms of it's Byrne?
Well, the weird thing was that despite the fact Byrne were 3-0 down, Fiore was on a 7 at half time. And I mean, this is a man who gets 6s when they win 4-0. So there's something weird going on with this game. I think he's done the right thing. I think sticking as is the right thing.
To answer Jens's question there, the podcast is available on the YouTube channel that you're watching this on now, and it's also available on Spotify for those who want to listen on the move.
Yeah.
I presume if at 3-0 down, Ian went as is, at 3-2 down, he's likely to go as is.
Yeah, I think you just stick with it, because you've read, like, the fact it's got to 3-2, it's like, do you want to, like, we all know, don't try and fucking trick the game engine because it'll fuck you. So just go with it. Like, he could bring on Palermo, but he's just scored 2 goals. Mm-hmm. And Badgers look
on the right.
Shaky. Yeah. Like,
well, excitingly, both managers has gone as is. Let's see what
feels
comes
like
next.
There's a red card or something. There's a red card coming or something like that. It's all Byrne now.
And now they can't score. Oh
Just hit the
shit! And
fucking
all the
target.
time flies past. 3 minutes being added on. Do they have one last chance in them? Duff, but Live gets in the way. Fiore then gets in the way. Toldo with the save, out for throw-in, into injury time.
And nothing at all.
Is it going to be in injury time? Keane. Oh, he spotted an incident. Klompe gets booked. Free kick. Ortega. Oh, Nagahara gets in the way, and it finishes 3-2 to Badgers. It pretty much had everything.
Hell of a game, that. Hell of a game.
Badgers did not have a shot in the second half.
I don't know what we've learnt from that, if anything. What we've learnt is this game is 22 years old and we still all know fucking nothing about it. Other than the fact that I did predict a Badgers win, which I think is about my first correct prediction of the night. So, yeah. The one stat that jumps out there, which I know that I'm sure there's one manager who's obsessed with headers, but winning 32% of headers is alarmingly low considering one of the opposition strikers is fucking Saviola, who's about 4'3" in heels. So
Rossini picks up man of the match for his performance. Only Desai rating below a 7 for the home team. Okoronkwo and Klompe, the men, going in the book. On the other side, Montero, Turan, Fiore, they all got booked. Decent without being spectacular ratings, lots of 8s, a couple of 6s. Overall, do you think Bern earned themselves a point, or do you think that 3-2 ultimately is the right result?
It's difficult with stats like that. Like Badgers just 3 goals from 4 shots in the first half, and then did nothing in the second half. But if you're 3-0 up, you don't need to do much, do you?
No,
you just need to not concede 3, which rarely happens. Totti getting a 6, that's the first time that's happened in a while, and Keane getting a 6 as well. You will not find many games where Bern have had nothing out of either of those two.
No,
but actually looking at it, Ortega's played well, Fiore astonishingly getting an 8, and he's had decent stuff from the wing backs as well. It's game 2. It's still the fucking Death Star.
Certainly is. We're on to our penultimate game of the night. Vikings hosting Sancte. And Dai back, Campbell back. And this is the team. Khan in goal, Argel and Campbell as the centre-back pairing. And Rossini, Petit and Dai. Finnan and Jorgatos offering the width. Ronaldinho in support of Inzaghi and Constantinu. In my pre-season prediction, I said that this is the first time in maybe 3 or 4 seasons I wasn't sure what I made of Sancte. They had some really good players. I'm looking at the likes of Campbell and Dai Khan. But I worried about, did they have enough firepower? And did they have enough quality past this first 11? What's your take on it? Because a lot of people were predicting them sort of 3rd, 4th, 5th, and then I think I put them in 10th in my prediction.
I know that he hasn't done a lot of business, and I know that there was a couple of deals that I think he was going to do, and then he pulled out of, and I don't think that was necessarily related to the change in transfers and stuff. I mean, the depth thing, speaking as someone who ran with a very small squad last year at Haggis, I am all for running with a small squad as long as you've got the depth to do it. And he has got some decent players that aren't playing. Like Reyes is a perfectly decent right winger. I love Mashlas. Gallardo's decent. Hagen's done it for him as well. I don't think you need a massive squad. Just from personal preference, I don't like that DMC line. I think I would have Ndai as the anchor in the middle, and then I would want 2 guys that are a bit more engine related either side of him. I actually think all 3 of them are good defensive midfielders, but I don't necessarily think the package of the 3 of them works together. But that would be the way that I would line it up. I think depending on how he's got that tactic set up, that might play for him. So,
as for Vikings, if I remember rightly, they are unchanged from game week 1. A lot of people talking up the Vikings this year, and you said earlier yourself, you think they have a good squad.
Yeah, really good squad. Again, in our team that's done. Just seeing Duggan's comment there, I totally get the reason for Petit being the one that sits in the middle. Looking at the squad, I would be tempted to play and die in the middle with Wellens one side, just because Wellens is a wee bit more forward thinking. But yeah, it is what it is. It might well work within the tactic. Vikings, they've got a very, very strong back seven there. I know that Paredes is one that a lot of people do like. Jeremy's, when I briefly took charge at Vikings, Jeremy's annoyed the piss out of me, but I think that was maybe my fault. There's a lot to like here, and even looking at that bench, he's got options. He can do different things. I think, again, I know he's got no transfers left. Were rules to change, he's definitely got a big move in him as well. He just needs to. He needs a win, and he needs to get a run of wins and get up there early. Something
you used the phrase there. Something you like. Something I like is Steve Wright in the chat telling me that Duggan won't be there. He's on a works do, but he's here. So get you guys on. When Duggan was literally the comment before him, and in between his comments, he's put, "I'm literally here."
Amazing.
Let's kick this one off and see. A score prediction.
I think I had a Vikings win for this one.
Okay. More faith behind the home advantage. Oh, Steve's on a works do too. Everyone's on their works do. Mine was 2 weeks ago. It feels like ages ago. Half an hour play, still 0-0. Looks like, again, it's been a busy game. I like that all we seem to say it every week, but all the games have been competitive. It's not like anyone's getting royally dicked, is it?
Yet.
Yeah.
There's one game after this. I hope Steve's ready to.
I think Steve's had a shandy or two today, because I don't really follow what he's going on about. Half time. Both sides with only one shot on target, a little bit wasteful in front of goal potentially.
Yes, wasn't a classic, but
no, this isn't the slobber knocker that we were maybe expecting.
No, the one thing, and the thing is, Jens has got the players to change it. I do wonder whether
very, very strong bench, arguably the strongest bench we've seen tonight.
Yeah, whether I would try and get some more players up the pitch. I mean, I'm saying that it's exactly the same formation essentially as Stanley were playing, and they created plenty, and he's probably had the better of that first half. But I think with the players he's got, he maybe could chuck a little bit more forward. And then when Ronaldinho's on a 6, you're struggling basically, and that doesn't happen often.
So it's Vikings that blink first. Moves Koviak, AMC left of Brozak with an arrow. And centralise Emerson. So he is getting players up the pitch. As for, I nearly said Dragons again. As for Sancte, it's Gallardo on for Finnan in the only change. So let's resume the action, go to 60 and see what happens next. 54 on the clock. And there's Thierry Henry to open the scoring for the home side. And then he goes in the book afterwards. So 1-0 Vikings. Sancte obviously lost game number 1. They are now losing in game number 2. We mentioned the strength of the Vikings bench. Is this where potentially Jens can go on and win this game with whatever he decides to do next?
Yeah, I think, again, he's I think Sancti had one chance in that little spell. He's been very, very vocal about backing Henri, and he thinks that Henri can be his striker, having tried Sigalko and having tried Anelka. And yeah, I think that's a sensible decision just for a little bit of freshness. But yeah, he's got to win it from here, though.
Constantinu rating a 6, Petit rating a 6, as well as Ronaldinho that you mentioned at half time. Conditionally wise, there's no real concern. So how does Sancti get themselves back in this, or does he trust the process?
I take Petit off for Mashlas and stick Constantinu in the centre of the 3 and hope that a bunch of crosses come in and he gets something on the end of it.
Well, he's actually going the other way. Mashlas coming on for Constantinu, and that's it.
That's fair enough. I really like Mashlas. I think he's a really handy player. Same with Nikolaidis, the Greek striker, as well. I think both of them are very, very useful.
78 now on the clock. Still just a 1 goal in it. Calm with the save. As we slow this one down. Mashlas. Shotis gets in the way. Now time just ticking away with not much happening. Here come the home side. It's Cafu. Offside by Sikoviak. Ronaldinho, Gatos goes from top corner. And on the rebound, surely. And a second rebound for Inzaghi. How have they not scored? Surely this time. Paredes gets in the way. The Vikings boys putting their body on the line for their club.
Jens's wife's not going to be asleep for long, is she?
No, certainly isn't. As the final whistle goes, Vikings get away with it there. Superb rearguard action in terms of bravery and determination to come away with a 1-0 win.
Well, I think that 4 of those Sancti shots came in that one little passage of play, which kind of says to you, they were chasing the game at the end, as often happens. I think if you're Jens, you're very happy. You're on the board. Your system works. I think it's now just a case of he must have a couple. He's had 2 home games to start, so I'm guessing he's away next. Mm-hmm. If he gets a point out of that and he's on 4 after 3 games, I think you're looking at it going, yeah, we've got something to build on here.
Paredes picking up a rare man of the match for him, but we did see his name. He was literally throwing his body in the way of everything at the end.
Yeah. I know he's not one that I think was he at Coast last year?
Stackington.
No, it was at Stackington. He was at Coast in the last iteration, and Dimble played him every game. Mm-hmm. Loved him, and yeah, he's handy.
As for Sancti, again, not the worst ratings in the world. It just wasn't their night tonight.
The entire story can be told by the fact you've had 2 key passes in 90 minutes. Like that's your problem, and that's where, for me, if you're playing 3 DMCs, that's actually where Campbell nailed it last year. With Petkov getting... Oh, sorry, I didn't see the Inzaghi ones.
No, I missed the Inzaghi ones initially.
Petkov picking up assists and guys getting assists from DMC. And I think Ndai's done okay there and Ambrosini's done okay there, but you need more from those guys either side of Petit if you're going to make it work, would be my view. So, yeah. Again, he had 2 away games? So he must get a home game, which hopefully settles him a bit.
That brings us on to the final game of the night, and it is your game. You host Dudley Hill. Steve is in the chat. We have seen him. Dudley...
Coupling is nuts.
Yes,
I believe that's what he said.
And they go, if I remember right, unchanged.
No, he's got Pat Sotsoglu in for Malevsky.
That's it. Malevsky was injured. I knew something had changed. It's Patsazoglu that's come in. You're right.
I think there's a couple of teams in the league, again, looking at, because I'm a complete transfer whore.
Yeah.
You look at that and he's got Patsazoglu, Sorochinsky, Malevsky, Vogel, Decor, and Van Bommel.
Yeah.
He definitely has someone will pay for a DMC from him. I think Decore's a dark horse. Like I know that he was at Burn at one point. Like this is a team. If I was Ross, at Stackington, I'd be looking very closely at the DMCs here, going, could he maybe get one of them, at some point. But yeah, it's a decent side. I'm a little surprised he hasn't played Woodgate, because Woodgate is an absolute monster from what I've seen. He's the best I've ever seen him in like season 2. Because I did a deal, I agreed that I would send him Woodgate, and we took ages to work out who I was getting back, and I was really fucking annoyed that I'd actually sent him, because he's quite handy. But yeah, he's playing a formation which I love. But I have no fear of that. I predicted an 8-5 win, I believe. So I'll stick by that.
You're still without the services of Anelka.
I'm not concerned about that.
And you're still going with the hashtag 0YY.
Yes.
You promised, we discussed it before we went live, you promised us goals. You have plenty of shots. Do you look at that front line and think this is the front line that will deliver the goals?
100%. It does. Like I actually didn't play champ for about 5 months this year at one point, and in the last kind of month or so, I've played it a wee bit again, and I've been playing loads of 3 up front, messing about with different players and stuff like that. I know I've done loads of it in small horse as well, and all 3 of these players works. Like these players all fit the roles that I wanted them for. Saha, again, another player that looks absolutely brilliant for this stage of a save. Looks really, really good, and I like him anyway. I sign him on a lot of home saves, and then change his name to something suitably Spanish. The one question mark for me at the moment is maybe Soren, as to how long I run him for. But to be honest, if my only question is how long I'm going to run my left winger for before I change it, I've got 3 or 4 guys who can play out there. I'm very happy with this squad. And even with Anelka out, I did want to get one more kind of big body in. Like I wanted to get Jimenez from Haggis, or maybe Klimowicz from Stackington. But Batistuta is still brilliant. I know there's everyone, he's really old, and he's still fucking brilliant. So hopefully he gets a couple of goals and we win 8-5.
Well, I will wish you and Steve the very best of luck as we kick off the final game of game week 2. And it was Exiles with the first chance. Now Dudley have a set piece.
Nesto with an early yellow.
Are you a fan of the purple and pink?
It's slightly easier to read than the orange on my phone screen.
Zambrotta, one of the few players to remain an Exile player this transfer window. He's been getting involved. Cambiasso now, and Sorin. Raul puts one over.
How can we be at 0-0 again?
Boring Exiles.
Fuck me.
As halftime whistle goes, and it is in fact 0-0. 4 attempts for the home side, 2 on target, 1 and 1 for the away side. Pass completion similar. Dudley Hill only getting about half their tackles, whereas Exiles completing 3/4 theirs. And also Exiles winning 2/3 in the air. Let me show you your stats first, Mr. Rocks. Nesta and Tomazi, both in the book. Cambiasso and Batistuta, the only players rating 6 or lower. Nobody with any real fitness concerns. I'm looking at the low numbers in Zambrotta's line, though, thinking he's not being as effective as perhaps he may be. As for Dudley Hill, looking at their stats, got an extra 6 in there. No one rating higher than a 7. Jens saying there's 15 defensive midfielders on the pitch, Rocks. Not a surprise it's 0-0. Bring 2 of yours up to AMC.
I'll stick till 60.
Rock's sticking until 60. Let's see. I think Mr. Wright will also. If he's not losing, he's not really one for changing it unless he has to. So I think he may well stick until 60 as well. There's some talent on that bench, though. Hersey's capable. Luca Toni's a proven striker.
Yeah, he's a good bench. He's definitely a good bench. I can see Tony coming on at some point, definitely.
Yeah, 100%.
I'm trying to work out who he's actually got, and then I realised that he's actually laid out his lineup in a very conventional manner. So I'm really struggling to work out who plays where. I'm so ingrained in my weird ways.
Steve going as is till 60 as well, and we're already there. 60 on the clock. Right. Nothing happened. Interestingly, though, the two players in the book are the two players rating 9s. Doesn't often happen that way. Normally you get demoted points for the booking.
Fantastic. Well, in the spirit of being a fucking lunatic, right, I need you to... God, how am I going to do this?
I know how I do it.
Stick Cambiasso and AMC in the centre, and then move Tomasi to the left, and then put Nesta in between the two DMCs, and then put... Oh, God, I can't remember who can pass a fucking ball. Stick Casas on for Cambiasso. I can't remember if he can pass a ball. And stick a wee arrow on him forward. Yeah, that'll do. That'll do. Go with that.
Yeah?
Yes. Has anyone else ever played none in the back in the Super League before?
Yes, I have. I've done it 3 times.
Magnificent. I'm honouring your... I was going to say honouring your memory, but slightly morbid for this festive season.
That's okay. As long as my memory is being honoured.
Yeah, are you not entertained, Jens? If he says fucking as is...
Steve Wright going to go full shit house here and go like everyone at the back.
Oh! Hit me on the break with a 90th minute Tony fucking shinner.
It's a brave move from Exiles. It'd be interesting because Steve would have had a full process of what to do. But you altering your tactic may change his thinking. Jens saying, love it, Rocks. Absolutely love it. Merry Christmas.
I've committed to goals. If I concede them, then I'm at least doing something. Fucking 0-0.
For the first time, tonight's broadcast is being streamed live to my personal X page, as well as the Super League YouTube and X, just because my Cmsl one isn't doing much at the moment, so it's a chance for people to find my personal Twitter and abuse me there instead.
It's always nice to have multiple platforms for abuse.
Indeed.
Pat sat for Tony. Tony left striker. Okay.
I'm presuming you'll also want these straightening up.
Yeah, he would do, wouldn't he?
Well, hang on. He's put MVB central. And then also just put Sorrow.
Oh, is he putting one of them to midfield and going 2-1-4-1-2?
So I'm guessing it's like this. Given that Steve has clearly had a shandy or two, because these messages are completely illegible.
MVB, Sorrow, MVB Central. Cheers. Yeah, them two Central DMC. So no, he wants them both back Central DMC, just with Cole in the middle by himself.
He wants it like that.
So that, yeah, he wants the coast as opposed to the full Chester Classic.
Yeah. That's how I'm now reading it.
So Tony and Coma and Dini are going to be standing there going, why is there no one fucking marking us?
As Nesta and Tomasi,
as Nesta and Tomasi tear forward and probably both get sent off.
Well,
here we go.
Let's see what happens next.
Will this work?
And Batistuta denied a great goal.
Come on.
77 on the clock.
Score
Still
a goal,
0-0.
you. Score a goal, you fucks. No, not them, Nesta. You're
Nesta.
a genius.
Sorin. Good tackle. Into the final 10. Joe
Just
Cole,
concede a goal or something.
Joe Cole. Costanzo Cole on the follow-up. Comandini. Costanzo with the save. How's he got there? Sorin now. Casas. Veron.
Please, just something happen.
Batistuta. And there's the goal.
You fucking that has to be the winning goal. There's 5 minutes left and I'm playing no defenders.
Dede! Oh, it won't count. He's offside. Oh, wow. For the second game week in a row, it's late drama in the final game, Zambrotta.
I can't win a game 1-0 with none at the back. Fuck me. How am I getting 2 clean sheets?
The full-time whistle goes. Exiles have won 1-0 again. Mike says someone get round to Steve Sharpish. And you're right, 0 at the back for half an hour, and you still didn't concede. As Exiles come away with 1-0 win. You must be absolutely delighted.
Oh, that was hilarious. I need to put Kutuzov on my bench for that. Absolute. That's. How have I only won 1-0? How have I not conceded? Look at Nesta. Oh, God.
That is mammoth. Absolutely monster performance from Nesta.
I mean, the thing is, and I'm sure people have seen it, I regularly do this on home saves where I play no defender or I play a defender at DMC just so I can play a fourth playmaker.
Yeah.
I do not expect it to work in this instance, but see, with the squad I've got, it kind of is workable because I've got certain players. I'm a little surprised that Sorin only got a 7. I thought he was quite prominent. Yeah. Look at Louis Saha having another good game. Raul having a good game. I'm beginning to be a little bit in love with this team. And what? Hold on. Casas, half an hour on the pitch, and he's. Oh no, that's Luca Toni. Sorry, Luca Toni, half an hour on the pitch, and he hasn't touched the ball.
No, correct.
How's he not touched it? He's had literally no one round him.
He's getting offside.
Jesus Christ.
Well, I'm delighted that, everyone's going to be clamouring for a place on comms because it's 2 comms, 2 wins so far. But that's a spectacular end to tonight's episode. I mean, the light
late 1-0 wins. Yeah, 2 late 1-0 wins. Yeah, very, very happy with that.
Dimble point now wasn't even allowed to take kickoff.
They just sent him over to left. Luca, run up the pitch. And by the time he's got up there, he's 7 yards offside as Nesta runs into the other half.
So here's confirmation of the classified results. Badgers 3, Burn 2, Coast 2, Foss Road 1, Exiles 1, Dudley Hill 0, Haggis 2, Los Santos 0, Stackington 2, Sloths 0. Stanley, the only home side not to win tonight, they got a 0-0 with Fulchester, which means no away sides have won this evening because the bottom game there, Vikings 1, Sancte 0. It's very early days, but we have 4 teams on maximum points: Coast, Badgers, Haggis, and Exiles. Stanley remain unbeaten. They're on 4 points. And then we've got Burn, Dudley, Vikings, Stackington all on 3, Fulchester 1. And do we start asking the question after 2 game weeks, who is going to be last to get a point? Los Santos, Foss Road, Sancte, and Sloths, all completely pointless. Sancte and Sloths, goalless as well at this stage, 2 games in. Reminder, the next round of fixtures is scheduled to be on Saturday night because Sunday is Christmas Eve, and even I appreciate that Christmas Eve is a time for family. So on Saturday night, we've got Dudley Hill Badgers, Foss Road Stackington, Fulchester Burn, Haggis East Coast, Los Santos Stanley, Sancte Exiles, and Sloths versus Vikings. If you would like to do commentary for that, please do drop me a DM to confirm. Rob, final word from you before we close for the evening. Thank you very much for joining me.
Not a problem, mate. Really enjoyed it.
And
really enjoyed it.
I'd like to wish you personally and your family a very, very happy Christmas.
Aye, same to you and same to everyone. It's first couple of games and the last couple of weeks have been really good, I think. And it seems to be all heading in a nice direction at the moment. So other than Steve, clearly, who's having a bit of a nightmare. But look, that's a cracking set of games for Saturday again. Haggis Coast's a big one. Some good games there.
PAX will be out tomorrow.
And a few sides getting their first home games as well, which be interesting to see if that trend sticks.
Absolutely. PAX will be out tomorrow when I get in from work. But until then, thank you to everyone who's joined us in the chat. I've enjoyed this evening. Thank you again to you, sir. He's been Rox. I've been Fyfie. Until Saturday from the Super League. Good night.